Today, July 3rd, 2026 is the beginning of a 3-day severe weather outbreak across our region, where damaging winds, tornadoes, and hail will be possible. Here's all you need to know. Welcome to WBWC. Today's severe weather threat's already beginning with a severe thunderstorm warning in effect in northwestern Pennsylvania for 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. But that is just the beginning of today's severe weather threat, as a 3 out of 6 slight risk of severe weather is issued by the Storm Prediction Center. This is for a 15% risk of damaging winds. There's also a large 3 out of 6 slight risk of severe weather for your 4th of July tomorrow, and another 3 out of 6 slight risk of severe weather for your 5th of July. All of these days bring risks for damaging winds, a brief tornado, and small hail. Right now, we still have extreme heat warnings in effect for our entire coverage area here, and these will continue through tomorrow, your 4th of July. Now let's talk about today's severe weather threat. Today, Friday, July 3rd, we have a 3 out of 6 slight risk of severe weather, and currently, we are seeing some storms firing up here. This is what the models were showing for around right now. So not picking up as much convection as there is convection being the storms themselves. We call that convection. But as we move forward, we can see some storms firing here in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, heading south, where some could clip into our coverage region here, especially near Bel Air and Harford County. But this could continue into the late overnight hours. This is 10 p.m. here. Got some storms entering Baltimore County and Harford County again. There's 20% chance we go live for this. It all depends on what happens. But what I'm really looking at for today is something called the CAPE, or Convective Available Potential Energy. This is like the storm energy. You see these brighter reds, purples, even blacks in some places. That is extreme amounts of CAPE that is very, very rare in this area. You can see in Baltimore, 4,293 J/kg. That is joules per kilogram. You don't need to know exactly what that means. All you need to know is that is a lot. That's the type of stuff you see out west, here in Oklahoma and stuff. It's just so much CAPE that if a storm can form in this environment, it's gonna go crazy. As you can see, as we go into the overnight hours, the CAPE starts to dwindle a little bit. There's still some localized areas of 5,000 joules per kilograms even. And this will basically, most of our instability or CAPE will be gone by morning of your 4th of July, but that doesn't mean it won't build back up. This is your 4th of July morning. As you can see, we have storm energy over 1,000 in most of our coverage area. If we move this forward, here's around noon. We're already seeing over 2,000. This is way more than enough. You can get significant severe weather with just 1,000. We are double that here. And as we go to the overnight hours and as the storms move through, as you can see, we got big holes in our storm energy here. What's that? That is where we are seeing those storms that are using that energy. And then you can see it's basically all gone, right? That's because the storms have used that energy by 6 p.m. And past that point, we're not really worrying about much severe weather until tomorrow, where we are seeing storm fuel build back up to over 1,000. Where we're seeing that CAPE go away again. That storm's using that fuel in a organized line. And that will move through our coverage area between 7 and 11 p.m. here. And past that, we're not worrying about severe weather too much. So you can see we don't pass 500 again for Monday. So we're not really worrying about too much severe weather then. Here's your 4th of July morning. This is around 7 a.m. This is what the radar could look like. So moving forward to around 2 p.m. down south, we are seeing some thunderstorms fire here in Virginia. We also have a 3 out of 6 slight risk of severe weather. But we're really watching 3 p.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., where from around 3 to 8 p.m. we are seeing constant severe weather. Strong severe thunderstorms will be moving through our area. Our first areas of severe weather in our coverage area will be near Prince Frederick and Westminster at around 3 p.m. These storms will be moving east, southeast. But now we're seeing severe weather near Leesburg just outside of coverage area, just west of Germantown. Bel Air, Manchester. As we move it forward even more, now we're seeing severe weather in Germantown, in Bel Air, still in Eldersburg. More severe weather in Westminster, Manchester, Glen Burnie at 6 p.m., Annapolis, just south of DC. Just a ton of strong to severe thunderstorms here. This is your Sunday morning here as we move it forward. Now we're at 2 p.m. Starting to see some storms go up over here just outside of coverage area in West Virginia and Virginia. These will kind of pile onto each other as they move east. This is 5 p.m. We're seeing a huge cluster of thunderstorms right here. These could be strong to severe. And these will continue to build and grow as we get to 7 p.m. where now they're now starting to enter our area. We have a strong storm called a supercell moving towards La Plata and DC. We have more storms near Charlestown, and these will move into the area where now from DC south we have an organized line of thunderstorms here. We have another storm cluster near Westminster and north of Westminster. This will move forward. Looks like Carroll County is just missing out on this one, but by 10 p.m. this could be hitting Prince Frederick, just outside of our coverage area, Chesapeake Beach, Annapolis, Baltimore, Columbia, possibly Eldersburg, and Westminster. By 11 p.m. this is hitting Bel Air, Edgewood, and by midnight it should be out of our coverage area, but could definitely be causing some problems to our east in New Jersey. Now here is our wind gust model here. This is 8 a.m. this morning, so we're past this point. This is what we're looking at now. Not very windy at all across our area. Gusts upwards of maybe 12 miles an hour here. As we go forward and go up here, we can see there's a little elevated area of wind gusts. That is a severe thunderstorm. So you can see there's a line of thunderstorms, line of thunderstorms, line of thunderstorms. And this could move south towards Baltimore County, towards Bel Air, where we could be seeing severe thunderstorm gusts right here east of Manchester and north of Towson around 7 p.m. By 8 p.m. this is hitting the Chesapeake Bay. Shouldn't cause too many problems past this point for us. That's why we do have that 20% chance of a live stream. If we do see that materialize, we get that severe weather activity, we will be going live for that. And now we are on your 4th of July. It's going to be a little bit of a windy one. This is before the storms even get here. They're back over here, as you can see, with these elevated wind profiles. You can just see a whole bunch of them. Look, this is 3 p.m., this is 4 p.m. Whole bunch of severe thunderstorms pop up. In fact, we see one right here near Bel Air again in Westminster. We could be seeing severe thunderstorm gusts in excess of 58 miles an hour near Bel Air. We have more storms going up with possibly strong, severe, damaging wind gusts near Leesburg. As we move this forward to 5 p.m., we could see severe wind gusts near Germantown heading east. So this could impact Sykesville, Ellicott City, Baltimore, Columbia. Move to the east, we're even seeing red here. That is indicative of our 80-mile-per-hour winds. In fact, we're seeing 90-mile-per-hour winds. This is outside of our coverage area. If you know anyone near Cecilton, Maryland, or Middletown, Delaware, you should keep them informed that there could be a destructive severe thunderstorm right here around 5 p.m. tomorrow. As we move this forward to 6 p.m., we're seeing severe wind gusts in Glen Burnie, Baltimore, Annapolis, DC, Prince George's County, all over the place. This is at 6 p.m. At 7 p.m., those will be crossing the bay into eastern Maryland near Centerville. We could still be seeing some gusty winds here near Ellicott City and Columbia from strong severe thunderstorms. And by 8 p.m., it should be out of our area. You're seeing this little kind of arc here. Those are severe thunderstorms. You can see them start here. They go up. So by 8 p.m., these will be fast moving. You can see they're in DC at 6 p.m. They're near Westminster and Eldersburg, Columbia, near 7 p.m. And at 8 p.m., they're all the way up near York. So definitely fast moving, but not on damaging. You know, doesn't take that much time to cause damage with one of these storms. Here we are, 5 p.m. Sunday. We're seeing severe thunderstorms popping up to our west again. These will be moving east. Here's your line of storms. Again, it's kind of just spreading out across the region here. This is why they have that slight risk out. This kind of splits to the north. That will be impacting the Pennsylvania area. Down here near DC, though, we're seeing a significant damaging wind threat. Or if we move this forward, we're now seeing damaging winds up near Ellicott City, Columbia, past DC near Laurel and Edgewater. If we move this forward, this is 9 p.m. If we move this forward 1 hour, now we've impacted Carroll County, Eldersburg, Westminster, Reisterstown, Towson, Baltimore, Annapolis, Middle River. It's crossing over into eastern Maryland again in the Delmarva Peninsula. And this will be moving out of our hair, and we'll just be getting some gusty winds overnight. Nothing too crazy. And then we're good. Here we are looking at our upper level winds. You can see it's kind of circulating around this one central point in southwest Virginia. That's our high pressure center. That's what's causing all of this heat here, as it creates something called a heat dome, which we are firmly placed in. You see, this is today where we're possibly seeing those severe weather. You can see we have winds coming in from the northwest, and these winds kind of die off by sunset, but we're back. This is your July 4th upper level winds, and here's when our severe weather would be moving through. You can see it's basically due east motion here. That due east motion will be allowing storms firing in this area to move off towards us and cause some damaging winds on our 4th of July. And here's July 5th, where we're seeing another threat of severe weather. I see where our upper level winds, the strongest portions, kind of right on top of our slight risk here. And that is just going to be moving now to the east-northeast. So winds are going to be changing directions throughout these 3 days, just because of how dynamic this system is. And past that, there are no upper level winds kind of in our area, which is good for us, because that means there's very little chance of severe weather. Now here's the spin in the atmosphere in the first kilometer of the atmosphere. Now here's the spin in the air in the first kilometer of the atmosphere. That's the ground to a kilometer above us. Here's 5 p.m. We're seeing not that much spin. As we can see, it's only about 24, which is not that much at all. That's not sufficient for tornado activity or anything like that. Meters squared per second squared is just kind of the unit we use for this stuff. You don't really need to know what it is. But we can abbreviate it with SRH, aka spin in the atmosphere. Now if we move forward, we can see a little burst of higher SRH values entering our region around 100, which technically that is sufficient for tornadoes, but does not mean there's going to be a tornado there. We can have SRH values over 900 and not have a tornado. It really all depends on super small details on whether a tornado happens or not. As we move this forward, here's July 4th morning, and then again 5 p.m. we're seeing these higher end values over 200 here and over 100 again. Even over here, this is out of our coverage area, but that's over 300. It's almost 400. Gonna be quite a bit of spin in the atmosphere. Whether that can produce a tornado, that's all up to really small details. Again, here we are, 6 p.m. Seeing values over 250 just southwest of Baltimore. Widespread 100 plus, though. As you go to 7 p.m., 8 p.m., it's basically out of our hair. And then here is your Sunday, where actually there is not that much spin in the atmosphere until midnight. But by that point, the storms are already way over, so they will be leaving some spin in the atmosphere behind them, but I'm not seeing much of a tornado threat on Sunday as much as Saturday. Now we're looking at basically our humidity in temperature format. So this is called our dew point. The higher the dew point, the more humid it is, basically. This is around the time of severe weather we'll be moving through very sufficient amounts. During summertime, you only really need 65 degrees of dew point. We have over 68. The lowest values I can see in our area is 64, which still should be fine. But again, we also have areas of over 70, 74. Very humid. Here's our storms moving through right there. And then here is your 4th of July. Here's as the storms move through. Gonna kind of take away some of the humidity with it, but actually not too much, unfortunately. Sunday should be that big day that takes away our humidity. But here's Sunday. Here's 4 p.m. You got the storms forming off to our west. You can see kind of a little band of increased humidity right in front of these as they first form. This is 5 p.m. 6 p.m. we have very high dew points across our entire area that are getting used up as these storms move through at 9, 10, 11 p.m. You can see the storms on our temperatures as well. Here are our heat index. Here are our heat indexes right now. We're seeing around 103, 102 in Baltimore. As we move this forward, here are storms to the north here. As they move south, we're seeing a bit of a cold circle. Those are our storms again near Hampstead, north of Towson in Baltimore. Here are 4th of July. We're seeing 106 in Baltimore. Very, very hot. And then boom, severe weather, severe thunderstorms going all up. Now we're seeing really low temperatures like 69 degrees in Westminster. That'll just be from the rain falling here. And then let's just get colder just because of the storms moving through. And that's done. It's not going to be as hot on Sunday, but still pretty hot, 96. And we have our storms move through. And we should be feeling pretty good. I mean, here we are Monday. We're barely breaking into the 80s. It's going to be very, very nice weather. Although, if it weren't for the showers, it'd be a great day to go for a walk. With that being said, a significant stretch of severe weather is ahead of us. Thank you for tuning in. We will not be live tomorrow. There's a 20% chance of me being live today, and an 80% chance of me being live on Sunday. So stay tuned, and I'll give you more updates. Thank you for tuning in to WBWC.